Hey everybody, this is Mike Jones from the Connection Games and Comics with my round 1 from Friday Night Magic, June the 7th, my Return to Ravnica block draft. My round 1 opponent is Rick. He's a regular at the store. Always fun to play against Rick. Anyway, we'll get right into it here. I win the dice roll, so fortunately neither of us has to mulligan today. And I've got a 4-lander with Angelic Edict, Daring Skyjack, and Ward Mind Infantry. So definitely a good hand for me here. So I lead off with a mountain. Rick leads off with a Guild Gate, so it looks like Rick's the other Boros player. And I follow up with the planes that I drew, Daring Skyjack. That's my 3-1. The battalion turns into a flyer, if I can trigger it. He leads off with a trained caracal. That's the 1-1 cat that has lifelink. I draw some more land, so flooding out a little bit in game 1 here. So for 3, I'll drop the Warmind Infantry, pass the turn back. Not going to trade my Skyjack for a caracal. Who knows, maybe Rick would have made the trade, but... So Rick was sitting in seat 2, and I'm sitting in seat 4, so he was passing to me in pack 1, but I had the Boros pack in the gate crash, passing back to him, so I should have been cutting off the better Boros cards. But as you guys may have seen in the draft video, a lot of the packs that had good Boros cards were really stacked with Boros cards, so even though I was cutting off a card, there was still good Boros picks to be had, or nothing. So he plays a Soul Tithe on my Warmind Infantry, which is going to slow me down, and drops another trained caracal. So that's 2 1-1s. He thinks about attacking with that. I point out that I can still block with the Warmind Infantry. So he decides, yeah, maybe that attack's not so good. He takes it back. Alright, no problem. This is Friday Night Magic. This is not a Pro Tour event, so that's totally cool. Anyway, so I draw a Frostburn Weird. I keep the 3-mana tap to pay for the Soul Tithe there. Drop a mountain and pass the turn back. I'm just going to reread Soul Tithe there, just make sure that it doesn't have a can't attack or block effect on it, which is true. So he's going to pay 3, and Act of Treason. He's going to steal my Warmind Infantry, and he's going to get in for, that's going to trigger the battalion, so it's 4, 5, 6 damage it's going to do to me, and he's going to gain 2 life. Puts me down to 14 and him up to 22. Interesting trade. I usually like to save Act of Treason until it's going to win me the game, or until he's going to be forced to block his own creature. But to each his own. That was 6 damage that got through. He was pretty sure I wasn't going to trade my own creature for my own creature. I may have taken out one of those caracals though. But anyway, so I keep the mana tapped for the Warmind Infantry again for the Soul Tithe. Just correcting my scoring mistake there. Play a Plains. And now I can swing with impunity, so that's going to bring him back down to 19. And I pass the turn back. Gotta admit, 2 trained caracals are not too scary at this point. But though I find out later that he's got several Dyna Charges in his deck, so swinging with those and then overloading Dyna Charge would have been, what? You gain 6 life and you kill my dude? That kind of sucked. Anyway, plays down a Cobble Brute there. That's the 5-2. That's a big ugly guy. certainly will trade that off for my... So he swings in with both. I think that attack was probably a mistake, Rick. I told you I'd point out play errors. So anyway, well, you're going to gain 2 there, and I'm going to take 1, but you lose one of your creatures there. So waiting until you either had the Dino Charge in hand or that there was no good block for me. I think there was no real reason to make that attack. So anyway, so I retap the land so that I can at least get the Frostburn Weird on the table here, but still paying for the Warmind Infantry. Drop another land. So now I've got Lobber Crew in hand, punish the enemy, Angelic Edict, or Frostburn Weird. So you gotta think about this for a second. Frostburn Weird's gonna get in front of that Caracal pretty effectively. He dropped a Judge's Familiar, and he still got that Cobble Brute, which I don't like. I don't have the mana to do the trade for with the Frostburn Weird. So here's a mistake on my end. Although I'm thinking I'd like to sacrifice the Warmind Infantry next turn anyway to the Soul Tithe. So this is basically a free attack for me. If he blocks, hey, that's great. If not, no. Oh, I don't get in there. That was probably stupid. I should have probably attacked there. Seeing if he would take the Cobble Brute out with me. But I'm holding it back so that I can block that Cobble Brute with the Warmind Infantry. Anyway, so he just passes the turn back. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Warmind Infantry around, I guess, for another turn. Draw Blaze Commando. And with 2 instants or sorceries in my hand, that looks like 4 1/1 soldier tokens to me, so that seems like a pretty reasonable game plan. I can also, I've got the mana up right now to keep the Frostburn Weird pumped, so here for sure. I guess I was just getting ahead of myself with my logic there. I mean, how long am I going to keep paying for that Soul Tithe? That Warmind Infantry is not really keeping too much at bay, so yeah, here we go. Let's get in with it. I thought I was going to do it last turn, but I'll do it this turn. If he blocks, great. If he doesn't, oh well. Maybe I should have kept it back. I could have blocked the... Here he's going to play Riot Control. That's going to gain him 3 life, because I have 3 creatures. And prevent all damage to him, so he's up to 24. So that was kind of a null attack. And I'll just drop the Lobber Crew. What's he gonna get here? So I'm not too worried at this point. I've got some pretty big cards in my hand. He drops the Wojak Halberdiers, and he's going to attack with the team. So I've got 1/1 Flyer, 5/2 Ground Pounder, and the 1/1 Lifelinker. So yeah, get under that bus. I don't want to be taking that much damage at this point. So Skyjack's going to take out the Cobble Brute. That's a trade I can make. Frostburn Weird's going to block. He's going to gain 1 life off the Trained Caracal before it dies. Again, I think attacking with the Trained Caracal there, probably not the right play, Rick. Even though you gain a life off of it. So here I sacrifice that guy so that I can start playing some of my 5-drops. And I drop Guardian of the Gateless. That's pretty sweet. So I'm just going to drop Guardian of the Gateless. Seems like a good plan, because he can block. He's a 3/3 flyer that can block any number of creatures, and he gets +1/+1 for each creature he blocks. So I'm going to get in there with the Frostburn Weird if he wants to trade for the... I mean, he can try to block with the Halberdiers. I can just let it bounce, or I could trade if I wanted to. I forgot to hit him with the Lobber Crew there. Whoops. Lobber Crew is one of those easy ones to forget. A lot of those end of turn things are easy to forget. Anyway, so he's going to tap 6 mana, drop Tenement Crasher, and swing with the team. So that triggers Battalion. So so I can block the whole team. So that makes my Guardian of the Gateless a 6/6. So the whole team there is a 5/4, 3/2 first strike, and a 1/1. So 4/5. Or is it a 5/3? Anyway, I figured out I can do 6 damage. Seems like I can take out his whole team. Which seems like a bad trade. I don't know if you realize that Guardian of the Gateless could block your whole team, Rick. You know, you can always ask me if you want to take it back if you didn't realize that. You did point out that you just couldn't help yourself getting in with that guy, so it's pretty good. Even just swinging with him alone would have been okay. Would have got rid of the Guardian of the Gateless. I probably would have been forced to block it, given the life totals. Anyway, I'll get in 1 point with the Lava Crew, drop the Blaze Commando, untaps my Lava Crew, swing with Frostburn Weird, hit for 2, bumping him once. So now I'm liking this board state a little bit better. He has another land. Says go. I think he's got no cards in hand at this point. Yeah, drop more land. He's got nothing for me to edict or punish. So I'm not making any soldier tokens. So I'll just drop the Clue Stone in case I draw my blast or something. And I'll swing for 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn it. 9. So I'll swing for 9. Puts him down to 10. Pass the turn back. And to his turn, I'll hit him down to 9. So he has another miss this turn. I think that's game here. I can hit him for 1 and then swing for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can just swing for 9 with the 2 creatures I got on the board. Can do 10 if he has a way of gaining 1 life. Anyway, tap it up, and that'll be game 1 going to me. Thanks, Rick. So it goes on to game 2. You showed me enough X1s in that first game, so I'm going to try and sideboard it. So he drew Dynacharge there, so that would have been useful a little bit earlier. Take out some of my stuff. So I'll sideboard out my active trees in my Hands of Binding. I didn't really see anything that I wanted to take. Maybe the Tenement Crasher. But I'll put in the Bomber Core and Electricity, deal with those trained Caracals, and the Judge's Familiar. What else did you show me? That was an X1. Anyway, there was enough there. I think that those 2 would be useful. So anyway, he's going to go first. Obviously, my opening hand is 2 mountains of plains. I got the Sunspire Griffin, which I can't play. I punish the enemies. But yeah, I'll keep this. We'll go. I got the Gorehouse Chainwalker there, so yeah, this is worth giving a try. Rick's deciding if he's going to keep his hand. I think he does decide to keep it. Leads off with a mountain. I draw the Hazda Snare Squad. That's pretty sweet. He's going to lead off with Wojak Halberdiers. That's awesome to drop. I draw a Tajik, but I only have 3 mana in my hand. Alright, well, I'll drop that Gorehouse Chainwalker. I have a 3/2, you have a 3/2. Seems like a reasonable race plan. You're going to win the race the way the current board stands, but I'm pretty comfortable. I got Tajik and I got a couple pieces of removal in my hand. So assuming that I get some more lands here, I'll be able to get ahead here. So he plays another land and drops Riot Gear. Well, that changes the math a little bit. That that Halberdier is now going to become, as soon as he can equip it, it's going to become a 4/4, which is a little more difficult to deal with. So I draw a Lobber Crew, play my third land, and I'll swing in, see if he wants to make the trade here. He does not, so he'll go down to 17. You probably could have swung last turn, Rick. That's another thing. You could have noticed I'm not able to block with the Gorehouse Chainwalker, so I should be at 17 at this point. And he's getting a little ahead of himself over there, drew a card, but I'll play the Snare Squad, pass the turn. He plays another land. So he's got 4. 4 on turn 4. Seems pretty good. I'm hoping that I drop another. If I draw a land here, I can drop Tajik. That's going to effectively deal with the Halberdiers. They're not going to be able to get through it, even with the ride gear on it, because Tajik's indestructible. He probably will hold him back to block at that point, but then I can attack with the Snare Squad and start tapping it down. Alright, so he's going to equip there, paying a red and a white. No, red and a red. Seems to make more sense. Hey, swing for 4. No blocks. Not going to trade my Snare Squad for that guy. And then he's going to play Dynacharge here. So I think that was probably a little premature, unless you had another Dynacharge in your hand. The extra 2 damage there, better to save it for the next turn after you drop that. I think that's the familiar there again. So then you would have gotten an extra 4 damage for that or for 2 mana, as opposed to just 2 damage there. Because I'm not blocking that flyer. So anyway, so I'm going to swing back, see if you want to make the trade. I drew something that wasn't a land again. Looks like Blast of Genius. Not going to do me a lot of good in this matchup, or in this match. So I just dropped the Lobber Crew. Get my pen back. So he obviously doesn't block there. Takes the 4, goes down to 13. Again, I should probably be at 11 at this point if you had gotten that earlier attack in. So now I at least have a blocker in my 0/4 Lobber Crew, but that's not a good trade, and I can't block the flyer, so looks like he misses a land drop here on turn 5. Act of Treason, so he's going to borrow my 3/2. Swing with the team, that triggers Battalion. Gives his Halberdiers first strike. It's not going to block anyway, so I'll block my own Gorehouse Chainwalker. Take 5, that puts me down to 9. Get my guy back. Untap. I'm not sure if you wanted to play something else there, Rick. You always can tell me to stop. Anyway, draw Angelic Edict. That's no good with only 3 mana available. Anyway, so I'll get in with those 2 guys. I'm not really gonna block anyway. Not with those guys. Brings us both to 9. He draws a land. So on turn 6 he makes his land. Oh, Steeple Rock. That's the 3/1 flyer. So he's got 4 power in the air. So he's going to swing for 1. That's going to put me at 8. So I'm on a 2-turn clock here unless I can block those flyers somewhere. So I hit him back for 1. That puts him to 8. And I draw not a land, but it's a Scorchwalker. So I'm looking at my attack options here. So if I turn those 2 guys sideways and swing, he's going to block the Chainwalker with the Steeple Rock and my Hazardous Snare Squad. If I tap one of those, I can't Blood Rush my Scorchwalker. So there's really just no profitable attacks for me here. No way to get through both the 4/4 and the 3/1 first strike. Dude, I mean, I could just attack with that, tap down halberdiers, then he can decide if he wants to block. Probably just chooses not to, and takes the 1. Not super exciting. Still looking at that. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. It maybe getting in here for 1 would have been the right play, but I think I'm just going to hold my guys back past the turn. I got 7 cards in hand, so I got to do something next turn, that's for sure. Trying to figure out if I can get in here for the win, but he's got 2 blockers back, so I can't get there from here. And I think this coming up here is the play mistake that cost you this game, Rick. Swinging with everything was probably unnecessary. I think if you just get in there with the steeple rock, you could even move the riot gear over to the steeple rock, swing in the air for 4. I can't block. Then move it back to the halberdiers. You have a 4/4 blocker and a 1/1 blocker in case I deal with the 4/4 somehow. And then you have me in 2 turns because I can't block flyers. Actually, yeah, you probably want to put the riot gear back on the judge's familiar, actually, because that's still going to trade for my chain walker even if I tap down the other one. So, but here you come in with the team. I'm at 8. That's lethal, so I can't really blame you for going for it here. Usually a good strategy. You forced me to make a block that I'd probably rather not make. So I throw the lobber crew under the bus. I hit you for 1. That puts you down to 7. But if you don't have a follow-up play, which you do, Rakdos Cackler. Again, maybe a play mistake there if you unleashed him, so he can't block anyway. So I get my land, but even so, because I drew the land there, even if you hadn't unleashed him, I'm swinging back. You really needed to keep 2 blockers back to stay alive in this game. So I swing with both guys, and you can't block, so then I Scorch Walker. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. And game 2 goes to me, and that's the match. Thanks for playing, Rick. There's some difficult decisions there, both in Boros, so that made it tough for both of us. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the store sometime. Thanks. Bye.